There's no film in here, as you can tell. And the click is very, it's a leaf shutter, so it's not going to be that loud. And I'm also missing the little leatherette in the front, so I'm going to make it look sexier. Welcome to BHT Live, episode 6. Hello, y'all. Wearing my my Fujifilm hat here. Excited about the upcoming X Summit next week, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Toronto time, Eastern Standard Time, and 6 a.m. here in Vancouver. So I'm actually gonna stay overnight at my studio, and then I'm going to get up early and watch it live with you guys. And you guys let me know if I should do a live show like after, like with like the Apple launches, a lot of the guys do it real time. They're doing a live like this and they're watching with you, or after the show, and then everyone's going to launch their videos and then wait an hour and then come back live, and we can all discuss all the new stuff that is coming out. And you guys let me know what you think, and I'll let you know what I think. What do you think? Let me know either in the comments here, or once the video is over and you have time to mull it over, if you guys want to see me come on live, even if it's later in the day, like let's say in the afternoon or something like that. But thanks for joining, guys. Let me know if the audio and the video looks good. I think the audio, I'm using the Blue Yeti here for my microphone that was sent to me from Logitech. So thank you so much, Logitech, for sending this out to me. I told them I'll be doing these kind of live shows, and they said, we'd love to send you out a Blue Yeti. And I said, thank you very much. So I'm using that now. Audio should be better. And let me see here. Let me just, Kathy YVR, how's it going, buddy? And there's a few people Donald, you came on early. And Adam came on early. Jimmy, Scott Michael, he came on early. So thanks for those that came on early. Let's just see here. TAC Motors, how's it going? Ohio gozaimasu. Yeah, what time is it in Japan? It's I guess it's like 9 a.m. Maybe my papa's gonna come on and watch me. I hope he doesn't. He's gonna be like, what's with the hat, son? Subardarshi, how's it going? And Cafe YVR, of course. How's it going, Cafe YVR? Hey, Cafe YVR, here, I'm gonna make you my moderator. I don't really know what that means, but you're now the moderator. I think you can pin comments or whatever. And also, Cafe YVR, if you want to, you can even just text me as well. I have my iPad just off to the side here. And GSD Wong, thanks for joining from nearby. And I'm hoping they introduce a weather-sealed XE4 to go with the weather-sealed 27 Mark II. Well, you have to remember that the XE series, the XT double-digit series, like the XT10, XT20, XT30, and oddly enough, the XS10, which I actually do have finally a reviewer's copy here, not necessarily long-term, but longer than I had it the last time. None of them are weather sealed. I think that's kind of how they distinguish their Pro series line with their prosumer line, because they all share the same sensor and the same processor. And so to also give it weather sealing, there's almost, they're giving you less reason to spend more money. So I don't think it would be wise on Fujifilm's part to make it weather sealed. I mean, I'm all for it if they can do it and still be able to keep the price down. But my guess is they won't do it. Thank you, Joel, for telling me about my audio and video. That's great. I just wanted to they're not my sponsors, but these are brands that, so I mentioned my shout out to Logitech for sending me the microphone as well. I showed this before, and I'm still kind of doing a review on it, and I kind of trying to figure out how to showcase this bag. But this is from Tap and Die. I'll put the links later on down below, but awesome bag. I've been using this as my daily bag when I go home for lunch. And just like be able to put my iPad in here, put a single DOP kit, and basically one little point and shoot. This is made out of a wax canvas, nice leather strap, leather handles, nice copper rivets in here, and also different company, but these are the Zaid made battery holders, which I actually do have extra one of the Fujifilm that holds the NPW126S that I'm going to do a giveaway. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to give, not this one, I have a new one somewhere, but how to give one of these things away. And he also makes them for the newer, the NP 3235 battery. And as well, Tap and Die did give me extra straps and other things for me to do a giveaway. So I'll do a giveaway. We'll figure it out. You guys maybe not in this feed now, but maybe after the video's over, you guys can let me know what would be a good, fair way of doing a giveaway. And as well, here, Vancouver, let's move this here. This is the Vancouver Street Photography Collective, and just looked it up on Instagram. They made me an honorary member, and so thank you guys. And then this is their zine, and they have some pretty, look at that. A little bit risque, but they got some pretty cool photos in here, and I assume these are all Vancouverites. And so they dropped off a zine. Thank you, Jake Wong, for dropping this off at my house. And so thank you for this. And what else? And I am reviewing a couple of things. Let me just kind of mention some review items. I shot the video already. This is actually really cool. This is the Comica shotgun microphone. I have the little dead cat mufflers on here, but look at this cool shotgun microphone. But look, this thing actually moves. So you can actually have this so that one microphone faces forward, one microphone faces backwards, and you can be projecting forwards and backwards, or you can do it in stereo like this and a little bit split wide like that. So I've already shot my review. I have to edit the video, and it comes in a nice case, as Comica does, always gives you nice cases and all the different cables and stuff like that. So this review is on its way. And as well, Synco, they make really cool microphones, and this is their wireless 2.4 gigahertz, two transmitter, one receiver unit that I haven't even opened yet. And so because of the COVID and the lockdown, I've been having trouble to get my videographers to work with me. And so I haven't started this review. Or Hollyland. These guys sent this to me like 2 months ago. This is their latest transmitter, the Mars 400S Pro. It looks pretty like Gundam. Doesn't look like a Japanese anime thing, but this is really cool, a wireless transmitter. And I might actually use this wireless transmitter as well as like video transmission, as well as audio transmission. I might use these both together in the same video. So I'm gonna check those out. So that's kind of in the background work. And then my buddy Juan from Beers and Camera sent me like a little care package of like, they just started making straps. So Juan, if you're on, thank you so much for Fab, and then B and C. And this is their kind of their strap right here. And they have a little film holder. Check that out. You can put your roll of film in here as you are carrying your camera strap, or your camera, as you're carrying camera. So thank you, Juan. And then he sent me a whole bunch of other little things, swag and stuff. Maybe I'll do a giveaway as well. Here's a Mike Padua B&C coffees and cameras, or beers and cameras pin. And you got stickers and keychains and whole bunch of swag. I always get sent swag all the time. So maybe I'll figure out how to do a giveaway with this stuff as well. Again, put it down in the comments how I'm going to give this stuff away. And I think I'm going to, at least at first, make it into a North America only giveaway. I apologize for any of my followers over in Asia. I did some of the math to places like Russia and places like Africa. It would cost me about like 50 or 60 bucks to ship you guys like a package about this size, like 50 bucks. So sometimes what I'm shipping you, the product is worth less than the actual shipping. And so for now, I'm going to make it North America only. So I apologize. So if I say North America only, I am including Mexico. All right. So North America for now. So thanks for joining. Let me just try to catch up to your comments here. Lee, how's it going from the UK? It's late in the UK, isn't it? It's close to midnight, but thanks for joining. And thank you for everyone letting me know about the the audio. I'm glad that the audio is good. I mean, this I did do a quick test between this Blue Yeti and just my shotgun microphone. This definitely sounded much nicer than using my shotgun. See, I do have a backup here just in case something went wrong. Here's my regular microphone that I use, which is the Rode Video Micro on a Magic Arm. But I thought I would definitely give this a go just to see what happens. And would you, let me just here, digging totes for everyday. Oh yeah, like I love this tote. When I go home for like lunch or whatever, this is I mean, some people complain that totes aren't manly enough. I don't even know what that means. But I think this, because of it has that kind of a Filson bag look with a real rugged, I mean, it looked more new when I first got it, but as you're using it, it kind of starts to wear in a little bit. Like this is a great bag to just kind of slum around. And like I said, when I go home for lunch or dinner, I just throw in a camera, a DOP kit, and my iPad, and then I just take off home. So yeah, it's a great bag. So go check it out. Tap and Die. He makes great stuff. And I have some giveaway stuff, some straps and some other things that he sent me to do a giveaway, and I haven't done one yet. So I apologize. Sorry. I got to catch up on these giveaways. Ken, hope all is well with you and your wife. Thank you very much. Camera Girl is doing great. She's been an at-home agent, in the management team for the past 16 years. So for her, self-isolating and working from home, she's got it great. And for her, maybe it's not a bonus, but I've been home probably a month and a half to 2 months longer than I typically am, because I usually go to Hong Kong for 3 to 4 weeks, and I go twice a year, right? So that's like 6 weeks in Hong Kong, and then I had a trip to UK, I had a trip to Germany, I had a trip to Italy, and multiple trips to the US, all planned for 2020, all of them canceled. So probably like 2.5 months. And so 2.5 months more of BHT for Camera Girl. So maybe it's not a good thing, but it's a good thing that I have the studio space so that I give her space. And so, but thanks for asking about her. Donald Klein, you're vegetarian, don't use any leather or animal products. Well, you know what? Maybe you can even ask Tap and Die, because he doesn't mass produce these bags. He doesn't mass produce them. Maybe he might have a non-leather option for stuff like this. Because I mean, this is canvas, right? This is canvas, and so perhaps he does make a non-leather version. So maybe give that a try. And unfortunately, I think all the straps, except for the beers and camera strap, that's like a rope strap. So I don't think that'll be an issue, right? Unless this part here might be leather or might be pleather. I can't tell. But something like this might be pleather. I don't know. But we'll see. But I'll make sure that I do kind of a fair giveaway to everyone, maybe like a quiz or something like that, or the first one to go to a certain post that I've buried. Like I might do something like this and say, first person to find this photo in my Instagram feed and put, some secret code. Whoever does that first will get it, right? Or something like that. I don't know. I'll do something like that and then make it a little bit fun, and then first person to do it, right? Will, how's it going, Will? Welcome. Hey, it's weird. Both Will and Cafe are my moderators. Oh, because I made you a moderator before. We can both be moderators. I don't know really what that means. And I think even you said, I don't know what that means. But Will is in Fukuoka in Japan. And so he's newly married. So omedetou. And you are, I mean, I'm jealous that you're there. But one of the things that Will had mentioned that pricing of camera gear in Japan is very expensive, and that is true. And so we kind of have it really good here in North America, because even compared to Australia or the UK, camera pricing in North America is very cheap. In the US, it's even cheaper than in Canada, because I've been looking at some Fujifilm MSRP pricing US, Canada. They did kind of adjust it a little bit. US dollars weaker, or maybe the Canadian dollar is stronger now. And so the difference is less. But if you look at the UK or Australia pricing, madness, the pricing there. And I guess Japan is the same thing, even though a lot of this gear origin the manufacturer is coming from Japan. Boris, your poor wife. Yeah, I know. I actually I feel for her. She likes it when I'm in the studio, but then sometimes she does ask me when I'm coming home, so it makes me feel like I'm loved and missed. You have many camera straps with one your favorite for the X Pro 3. Man alive, I got a lot of favorite straps. It'll probably be one of my Cuda or my Barton 1972, the muddy green military one, or any of my colorful silk Cuda straps, or my new tap and die is really nice. And yeah, I mean, I love straps. It's like saying you love cars and only picking one. It's very difficult. And so just picking one strap is difficult. But yeah, those three are probably in my top sort of top 5 straps. I have to pick 2 more. Nobu Bad Tuning, how's it going? And you lost your X Pro 2 eyepiece once. X Pro 3 looks more solid from my recollection. Yeah, hey, Cafe YVR, I may have access to an X Pro 2, the limited edition graphite. We could talk about it later. Maybe we'll talk about it later. But anyways, Boris, Toronto, funny you're talking camera prices. I've been finding here in Toronto, the used market on Kijiji and Facebook have been dropping in prices. Terrible thing for me and my budget. Terrible or good? We don't use, I don't know, does people use Kijiji out west here? I find most people here in Vancouver use Craigslist, but I know Kijiji is another. I've looked through it. I've never really found much on there. And Will, I know in Japan, have you started looking at the Yahoo, the marketplace, whatever that's called? That's like the best place in the world for used camera gear, weird camera gear, and really good prices. Speaking about cameras, I just recently obtained a X700, which is cool, but I still say the XD and the XD11 is a much better camera. It's much better built. The quality is much nicer. I mean, just listen to this. Ready? It has like a Leica sound and feel. And of course, this is what the original Leica, the R4 is based on the Minolta XD, right? And this is the X700. Hear that slap? And hear this? This just sounds much nicer. Minolta XD. I have 3 of them now. And let me see here. Did I miss someone's question? I think I see someone here. I'm not sure if you're getting my question. Sorry about it. Naman Photography, where are you? Do you mind asking? Oh, here we go. Expert 2, I keep losing the eyepiece. How is it on the X Pro 3? Oh, okay. You know what? I wish I had my X Pro 3. I think Cafe YVR answered it because Cafe YVR had an X Pro 2. I never owned an X Pro 2. I had one on loan for about 1.5 years, and then I ended up keeping the XT2 for like I think 2 years almost. I love that camera. And Cafe YVR, he lost his eyepiece, and I know a few people complain about losing that eyepiece, and they did a complete redesign on the X Pro 3. It's still not as nice as the XT3 and the XT4 and the XH1. It doesn't have the nice removable. See here, I have my X Pro. This is my XH1 here, and see this here? It's a nice removable eyepiece here, like that. They don't. I wish they kind of did something like this, or at least an option to do something like this on the X Pro 3. But I understand they want to keep it not sticking out so much, right? So when you wear this around your neck on a strap, it tends to. I find that this eye cup kind of, it's soft, but it still kind of pushes up against your body, and that's kind of why I like the X100 series and the X Pro series. Is it kind of, it's nice around and under your arm when you're out shooting all day, and these things are kind of irritating. In fact, when I'm out shooting at night on a bicycle, I actually just take the eye cup off because it bugs me so much. But anyway, sorry for missing your question there. I thought that was a Cafe VR question. Lots of film cameras showing up recently. Seems like it's Craigslist, Facebook. Yeah, I didn't even know Facebook had a marketplace. I do my best to avoid Facebook. I don't like the interface. I mean, obviously I care about security and selling my information, all that stuff, just like WhatsApp. I just never liked the WhatsApp interface. And I've been trying to get all my friends and colleagues to move over to either Telegram or Signal. And now there's a new app that everyone's telling me I should try, which is called Clubhouse. Clubhouse? The Clubhouse? I thought it was like a sandwich until I get it. It's like a club? I don't know. Anyways, I'm trying that and we'll see how that goes. I might do kind of discussions like this. It's kind of like no video, it's just audio only. And then maybe if I do like a thing or something, I don't know, not a Patreon, but some kind of a thing, a private invite to do a private conversation with me, and I'll keep it to like maximum of maybe 10 people or something like that. Is that too small? Maybe 20 people, and we can have like private conversations. So I can actually hear your voice instead of me having to look at the comments here and trying to just keep up with it. Japan is actually great for film camera lovers because there are so many selections. There's a sort of a film camera sale even this weekend in Hakata, but digital, no bueno. Yeah, yeah, film cameras are cheap and abundant in Japan if you can buy it directly from the sellers. And so I think Yahoo Marketplace or something like that is a good place to buy stuff. Javier, I just got a Leica M8 super cheap. Congrats. Only 10 megapixels, good enough. I even think 8 megapixels is good enough. It feels like an analog. What do you think? Should I upgrade? If you're happy with it, you're happy with it. The only thing is you have the crop factor, right? So it's the APS-C or an APS-C size sensor. So if you're all right with the crop, then I say, I mean, look at me. Look at all these weird old cameras. I just got this Minolta 110 zoom. I love this thing. 110 film is tiny. And I mean, yeah, whatever camera works, I say keep on using it. Rikishi no Tabi, good morning. I'm a little late to the party. I was on kitchen duty this morning. Well, welcome. How's it going? I don't mind. Sometimes it might cost a little more than my budget. As long as I enjoy it, I would go ahead to spend it and enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, that's true. GSD, like, if like in the end, if you pay a little extra for something you really want, you tend to, like, I know a lot, and I've done it myself. Like, even like, I want to get an iPad case. So you buy like the cheapest one on Amazon for like 20 bucks or 15 bucks. And then later on, you end up getting like a nicer one that you actually wanted, right? And so sometimes it's better, you actually save money by buying what you actually want at first, instead of trying to buy the cheapest thing, thinking you'll be happy with it, and then ending up having to waste time trying to sell it on Craigslist or Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, and then buy what you actually want. It's like time wasted. Just get what you like, but what you can afford, right? And be happy with what you can afford. How do I find the sharpness of the 23 f2 on into the edge of the frame? So up close to 23 f2, which I'm actually shooting this video on the 23 f2. It's a quirky lens. Close focus, it's not very good. It reminds me of the X100 series, where from medium to far distance, it's sharp enough. In the middle, it's very sharp, wide open, but along the edge, it's not that sharp. But in general, from medium distance, I'm not wanting to get edge sharp. I'm trying to get that bokeh effect. If you stop down to like f4, it's fine. From medium to far distance to sharpen up the edges, but up close, you got to go like f5, 6, f8. So it's not really great for like macro type photography, or even like up close, like taking a picture of a watch or something like that. Don't use the 23 f2. It's not very good for that type of thing. But for straight photography, for medium distance photography, for talking head video like this, I know talking head's not something that most people do. It's a fine lens. And in fact, I do like it over the 23-1.4 because of how fast and quiet and accurate the autofocus is. I have an article on Fuji Love about how I use it for street photography in Japan and Osaka. Great lens for fast autofocus street photography. And if you're doing that type of photography, who cares about edge sharpness, right? But if you're trying to do like architectural, if you're trying to do stuff that you want like sharpness across the frame, even all the way across, then I would get the 23-1.4 or even like the Viltrox 25 millimeter. And I think there is even a Zeiss Otis, is it called? 22 or something like that, in that kind of range. So yeah, those are the options for now. And hopefully with Sigma, if they come on board, and as well as the other third-party manufacturers. In fact, I think what lens is on here? This is the 35. No, this is a 25. This is the Per Gear 25 millimeter f1.6. This is a smoking sharp lens. It's manual focus only, but smoking sharp, way sharper than the Fujifilm. Edge to edge, no chromatic aberration. Any of these Chinese manufacturers that are coming up with these like sub $100 lenses, and then they're super sharp. People wonder like, how are these Chinese manufacturers making these sharp lenses? It's because they're taking old Voigtlander, Zeiss, Leica designs that are out of patent from like 50, 60, 70 years ago. And they're typically 6, 7, or 8 element lenses. And they're just duplicating that. And that's why they're so sharp. And so I like this lens. It's one of the Per Gear lenses are so cheap and yet super sharp. Their 35-1.6 is amazing. It controls chroma and it controls, and the sharpness is equal to the Fujifilm 35-1.4. Trying to see if I have anything here. Nice toque. Hey, Steele Matthews. Yeah, I thought I would wear it. Camera girl and I she always tells me where I'm supposed to. She wants this in the middle. I said I don't want it to be a target. I think a little off to the side is fine. I got this from Fuji. I think I even have. No, I don't have a spare. I gave the spare to camera girl. Hey, Andreas Maas, how's it going? Hope you've been well, Take. Recently, we watched a video of our little cine still shoot out in Hong Kong. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Good times. I miss travel, especially Japan and Hong Kong, etc. Andreas, are you back in Germany? Yeah. So those of you who haven't seen my cine still photo shoot with Barton 1972, as well as Joseph from Meteor Camera and a bunch of his friends and a bunch of my friends. I had fun shooting that. That was a lot of fun. And let me see here. Chris, how does the 40 Summicron stack up to the 35? Which 35, Chris? The 40 Summicron is really nice. I still believe that it actually was a Minolta design, not a Leica design, because that was for the CL and the CLE lineup. That was a collaboration between Leica and Fujifilm. And up to that point, I don't think Leica ever made a 40 mil. And after that, they've never made a 40 mil. And Minolta likes 40 and 45. In fact, one of my favorite MD mount lenses is where is it here? It's here somewhere. It's the 40. Here we go. It's their 45 millimeter f2, and people used to call this the Japanese Summicron. This is a super sharp lens, and this was a kit lens as well, and cheap. But in the 90s, all these Japanese guys are flying to US and Japan, and they were buying up these things for like 20 or 30 bucks because nobody wanted them. But I have 3 copies of them. Everyone here in North America wants the 50 mil 1.4. This lens is quite soft at 1.4. I mean, if you need to shoot at 1.4, you have the speed, but the 45 f2 wide open is super sharp. So the 40 f2, I love that lens. I have the Minolta version of it. I know there's a Leica version, but it's great. If you can get the Leica version over the Minolta version, I would actually, because I think the multi-coating on the Summicron is much better than the Fuji and then on the Minolta. I keep on saying Fujifilm for Minolta. Hey, Taka, are you into watches? Yes, I am into watches. For sure. I love watches. I noticed you had a nice Tissot on your other video, which is similar to mine. Yeah, it's a PR 516 or something like that, right? Yeah. Yeah, I love watches. Love them. I've been wearing them since like grade 3. And that's why like I love what the Apple Watch can do for me, but I I I can't. I have to wear two. I don't mind wearing two, but I'd rather be wearing two. Rather be wearing two uh, regular watches, not a smartwatch. This is called a Tax, TACS. It's a lens-inspired watch. These guys sent this watch to me like last year. So there you go, Tax. And people always want to ask me what lens. This is a quartz watch, but it's a cool watch. I like it. I don't discriminate if it's quartz or mechanical or automatic. They're all cool to me. I've been eyeing some of those cheap manual lenses for Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, I say give them a go. The per gears are sharp. They're really nice. And the TT Artisan, 7 Artisans are also really good. I've been watching the street photo review Leica Q versus M240 many times and love this video. Oh, with John Lehman. Yeah, I shot that. That's my #1 viewed video of all time. Hey, John, how's it going, buddy? I'll be interviewed by Fujifilm Malaysia Live. Oh, cool. Send me the link. John Ishii's a retired photojournalist from, I mean, I think you were a son of a diplomat, right, John? You've kind of lived all over the world, and now he's retired in KL, and we met in Hong Kong, and I call him my big brother. So, hey, John, thanks for joining. Oh, hey, Steve Matthews. Thank you so much for the, what is it called? Super chat? Thank you for the super chat donation. Last week was funny. Like, I didn't even know how super chat worked. And I just said like, oh, like there's the $sign. I don't even know how it works. And all of a sudden people started donating. So those that donated last week, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I always tell people I put my money back into my business. I don't pull it out and go and buy socks unless it's for work. But other than that, it gets reinvested back into my business. And so whatever donations people give, I appreciate. But then I try to rotate it back. And right now I'm just dying to get to Hong Kong, but we'll see what happens. But Steele Matthews, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I see, Chris, the 35 Summicron, and even that 35 Summicron from what generation? There's probably like 8 versions of the 35 F2 Summicron. Like, you mean pre-aspherical? If you mean pre-aspherical, there's a famous one that's an Elcan, so it was made in Canada. People love that one. And I would definitely say the Leica has that that glow, especially if you shoot with black and white film. I think the Leica 35 Summicron pre-aspherical, the F2, like I think maybe it's version 2, is a really, really nice version. But I like the 40 mil field of view. And remember, if you don't have a CL or CLE, you won't get the 40 mil frame lines, which can bug people. I can compensate for it on my M7, but I do have a CLE where I get to see the 40 mil frame lines. And that's another thing you have to consider. I know some people get the Voigtlander 40, the Nocton or whatever it is, the 1.2, the 1.4, and they have that same issue. If they don't have a CL or CLE, is that they don't get to see the proper frame line. So if you can get a 35 F2, it's definitely worth paying that extra money, especially in resale value. But I think that the 40 F2, I think Japan Camera Hunter even had a list of like top 5 most underrated, undervalued Leica M mount lenses. And the 40 F2 was in that list because it is a killer lens that a lot of people don't know about. But a 35 Summicron pre-ask is an awesome lens as well. So let me see here. Let me know when you come to Seattle. I don't think, yeah, I would love to visit Seattle. I love Seattle. It's a cool city. But I'm thinking our borders won't even be open up until maybe November, hopefully the end of summer. I think we'll see. We'll see how fast the vaccines are rolled out and how quickly the borders can be opened. But yeah, I miss visiting my friends down in the US, and I miss my friends in Hong Kong. I miss the opportunity to go to the UK and see some. I had all these plans for the UK that got canceled. I had a photo workshop in Italy that had to be canceled, and as well as a trip to visit my cousin in Germany and then do some stuff there that got canceled. So yeah, it's been a tough 2020, but we'll see how we can recover, eh? Let me see here. Andreas talking about a custom Canon P in Taiwan. If you don't know them and their Instagram yet, it's probably better. No, hey, Andreas, message me. I want to look at it. I'm good at looking and not buying, because when you're poor, you can't afford anyway. It's like looking at Porsches. I don't mind looking at Porsches. I'm never tempted because I can't afford the one that I want, which is a Porsche 959 in white. That's what I want. I think they're probably worth about $1 million now. I can't afford it, but I can look and enjoy it, or buy a Hot Wheels version of it. But a Canon P, that's awesome. The custom paint, is it white? Because I saw somebody post a really cool custom white paint job, but maybe that was Kanto that posted that. You got a free pair of socks. Pretty nice. Stance socks? Everyone seems to like Stance. I like Darn Tough. They make some darn tough socks with a lifetime warranty. There are 6 versions. There you go. Yeah, there's 6 versions of the 35 Summicron. So depending on which version, I like the pre-spherical just because of the size. And unfortunately for me, the 28 Summicron, the first version of the 28 Summicron wasn't as spherical. I had hoped, that there was some long lost 28 Summicron pre-spherical that I wasn't aware of. I was told it doesn't exist. And so I'm stuck with this big kind of thick lens. It's a beautiful lens. I love it. It's my favorite lens on my M7, but unfortunately it's huge. And so I have the 28 Roarcore, the f2.8 Roarcore, which is a little bit slow for me for my night photography in Hong Kong, but and also it has the hazing issue, which maybe I should send to Kanto to see if they can fix it for me. But I needed an f2 at least. And 35, I think I will want a 35-1.4 pre-spherical. That's probably my next M mount purchase. Home, I have the version 3 35 Cron made in Canada. Not the most appreciated of the bunch, but it's pretty darn good. Version 4 is the king of bokeh, but overpriced. Yeah, I mean, some of them kind of get really popular and then get really overpriced. Like the old Noctilux. Have you seen the price of the old 50 mil Noctilux? Like the version 1, version 2, version 3. Those things are like just gone through the roof in Hong Kong and all over the world. Before, there was a time where when the new 0.95s were coming out, like people were selling their old 1.2s and their F1s, and then they got bought up really quickly, and then all of a sudden everyone wanted the old versions. And so I guess I can't ever buy one, can never afford one. Do you know who is still making color film in bulk besides Kodak, who can make Pro 400H on an OE basis for Fujifilm? I'm thinking about what Ilford is doing for Acros too. Yeah, I think with Acros though, they, that's the thing I had mentioned there. I had said that Lonnie, I was mentioning that they changed the formula for Acros to Acros 2, and they had said basically we can't make 400H because one of the layers, we can't get a hold of that chemical to make that layer. But my thinking is, well, then make a Pro 400H version 2, like you did with the Acros. Just make a version 2. So I almost feel like it's a little bit of an excuse for Fujifilm. It's a little bit of an excuse for them to discontinue it. I think they could do it if they really wanted to. And but who else would make it? I don't know if Kodak would make it for Fujifilm. Although I don't think there are any that rivalry of Kodak versus Fujifilm. I think that's long dead because film is just struggling to survive. Kodak is struggling to survive. Fujifilm's not struggling to survive. They just kind of want to be in an area where they're more profitable. And other than Instax, they're not very profitable when it comes to pro film. And so I could see Kodak being subcontracted to make Pro 400H Mark II, but I don't know. We'll see. I personally, at the 400, I actually do like Portrait 400 more than 400H. I like the Fujifilm, the 160, and the Pro, and I also, which is discontinued as well. I also like their Superior 200, and but the 400, I am a fan of the Portra. I mean, I worked at Kodak for decades, so I'm used to the Kodak stuff. But I also, for street photography, I really did like the Pro 400H. It had a weird kind of a look that worked really well in Hong Kong. That Portra was a little bit too warm and magenta for me. The Fujifilm Pro 400H was kind of green, so it works great for like landscape and outdoor and gritty street style photography. I like the Pro 400H, but that's a good question. Andreas, you need a new LTM lens. You should get either the Minolta 28 f3.5 that's based on the TC1, or the Ricoh 28 f2.8 LTM that was based on the Ricoh GR1. Both of those lenses on the point and shoots, they had an LTM version of it. I think you should do that. That'd be awesome. It's weird. This live chat, it's jumping. So sorry, like I see how I missed some people's comments now. So as I kind of scroll over, I'm making excuses. As I scroll, it jumps. So that's probably where I'm missing some people's comments. So I do apologize if I missed your comment. And especially if you've asked more than once, I humbly apologize. Hot Wheels or classics, still like them. Yeah, I collected them until about 6 years ago, but I have 8 nephews. 8 of them. So I just gave all my Hot Wheels to my nephew. 8 or 7? I lost count. I have another nephew or niece on her or his way, but I gave them all to my nephews. So I know they're kind of in good hands, I hope. I kept some of the collectible ones. They're actually in my studio here, like Batman. They're still in the box. But yeah, I love Hot Wheels. If you can't afford to buy a big one, then just get the little tiny toy ones, right? Joel talking about the 35 Cron version 4 being called the king of bokeh. It's a nice bokeh, but not the best. Yeah, I mean, they got the Leica nerds that sit there and they analyze. I had the steel rim 35 Summilux. That's supposed to be like the most beautiful bokeh and out of focus area in using black and white. It had the glow, and it looked great, but I couldn't tell a huge difference, to be honest. Sorry, Jeffo. And I don't know, that's a very expensive lens too. He had the original hood and the lens cap and everything. And then he told me how much just the hood was worth. And I'm like, oh man, maybe you should hold that. But he lent me on one of my Hong Kong projects. I had the 35 1.4 steel rim, the original. And beautiful lens, but I was more about the compact size and weight and being able to shoot at close to infinity at 1.4 at night, shooting cine still, giving me like a 30th of a second instead of like a 15th of a second. And that's the big reason why I want a 1.4 35 for street photography at night, wide open, but at infinity. So I'm not so worried about the focus. Take, how strong is your pull with Fujifilm North America to get the return 1600 speed film? No, even Billy that works tech support Fujifilm Canada, one of the original Fuji guys with Greg, he talked about a lot of stuff like manual focus lenses for X mount. Fujifilm just shot him down. Like HQ in Japan said nope, and same with film. Like they're just not interested. They're really seriously not interested. Thank you, Cafe YVR 540. Thank you. Kevir, I bet they'll reintroduce Pro 400H once they get a good new formula down. I hope so. I mean, chemistry is a big part of Fujifilm's business, right? Not only in terms of medicine, they still need chemistry for their paper and chemistry, the film process, right? They still make film chemicals. And as well, they're into cosmetics as well as medicine. So Fujifilm is still heavily invested in chemicals. It's still a big part of their business. And so it's not like they don't have chemists and engineers and scientists that can reformulate the Pro 400H. It's just a matter of how much time and energy do they want to spend doing that versus working on the next shade of blush. which I think it's called. I forgot the name of their. I think Lonnie, you would know whatever it's called in Japan. The Fujifilm cosmetic. Is it called Astia or something like that? It's their men's line of cosmetics or something, or skincare in Japan. But the Fujifilm is big on cosmetics, skincare, and that kind of stuff. And they also sell wholesale to other manufacturers that are slap their name on it. But it's all Fujifilm chemistry division. Oh, see, there you go. It just jumped again. Sorry, guys. Andreas, you didn't know about the Minolta LTM. Yeah. The TC1 version 2.8, 28. Both of them are 28. 3.5 for the Minolta and 2.8 for the Ricoh. If you want a 28, right? But I think that would be cool. So you're basically getting the same image quality as a Minolta TC1 or the Ricoh GR1, but on a interchangeable lens rangefinder body. I think that would be cool. Adam, I recall you're a fan of Fred Herzog. Have you ever tried to emulate the photos he took downtown, like the one, the studio on Granville? Yeah, I mean, I knew Fred for the last few years of his life. I'm still good friends with Henri Robideau, he was like one of his best friends. And he was with him just the day before he passed away. And I had coffee and I had lunch with Uncle Fred, like to call him. I even have a cool picture of him wearing my Uniqlo ultralight down vest. I never try. I guess maybe it's a matter of pride, I guess, as a photographer. I don't try to mimic other people's photography. And I know what you mean, not necessarily just mimic, but go to the same places he's been. And a lot of my pictures in Chinatown, you'll sort of see where Fred shot. And I shot in the same spot, but with a different focal length or different perspective. And so a lot of the areas that Fred shot, I've shot there as well. And remember, a lot of it has changed. Another good photographer is on Instagram, he calls himself Greg for a Day. Greg, what's Greg's last name, guys? Anyways, he has some amazing photos. For me, actually, I like them even more than Fred's, because Fred's was very, how do you explain it? Kind of like Norman Rockwellian, kind of like very, very good, but it's very nostalgia. Like after you see a Fred Herzog photo, you want to just drink a Coca-Cola or something like that. Very nostalgic. Where Greg's photos, they're very moody and very artsy, if I can call it that. I really love Greg's work. And same thing, like I've shot in the same area that Greg's shot at, but not necessarily tried to just copy what he's done. And so, yeah, Greg's work is great. Fred's work is great. Go, you can borrow my 35 pre-ass Lux to try. Where do you live? Go. Where do you live? Are you in Vancouver? Do I know you? I think I know who you are. Maybe I would love to borrow it if that's okay. But if I borrow it, it's not for Vancouver. It's for Hong Kong. I have to take it overseas. Is that okay too? Ken, when you talk about pocketable cameras, you always talk about the Fuji and the Ricoh. Why not the Sony? You mean like the Sony RX1, or you mean the Sony, the RX100 series? It's because I haven't reviewed them. And in fact, when people ask for like, hey, Take, what's a good compact point and shoot? 90% of the time, the people that are asking me, I tell them get an RX100. Like that is what most people who don't know a lot about photography, that don't have a specific thing they're looking for. The RX100 series, I've been saying this for years, is the best compact point and shoot camera all around. Autofocus, face tracking, IBIS. Is it IBIS or is it OIS? One of the two anyways. It has stabilization. It's a great camera system. It is. But a lot of the people that are asking me, they're kind of like street photographers, and I think they want the larger APS-C size sensor, but not as large. I do get questions about the Leica Q as well, but not much about the RX1. I think this seems like kind of a dead camera to me. Like, I don't know if Sony's even pursuing it, but Greg Girard, of course. Anyways, yeah, I have no issue with Sony. It's just I haven't reviewed them, so I have a hard time giving my opinion on it other than from a spec point of view or what other people have been telling me. Joel, opinion, looking for the sharpest lens when shooting consumer grade film or grainy high ISO film, especially older formulas. Not sure that makes sense. No, that makes sense because a lot of the older lenses were formulated to shoot with film and not digital. So some lens, one of the issues with older lenses is that there's often not enough contrast, and that's on purpose because back then you had multi-grade paper and you can print, especially like some lenses are even more. Like, think about any of the lenses that were made before 1970. Most of them were geared towards black and white film, right? And a lot of people who printed their own black and white could increase or decrease the contrast. So you didn't want your lens to create overt contrast. You kind of wanted flat-ish, meaning like think of people who shoot video now who like that flat profile. And then later in post, they can add the contrast and color grade and stuff like that. So back in the film days, a lot of the earlier lenses kind of were sharp, but didn't have a lot of contrast. But then you would just add that later. And then people now buy these old film lenses and then put it on digital bodies and then say, oh, the image looks flat. It's like, well, that's kind of how it's designed. So I completely know what you're talking about. I'm not a huge, I know a lot of guys in Hong Kong, and there's a couple of guys in Vancouver that I know that are huge lens films, like Ryan Ma of Black Rhino Creatives is a huge nut when it comes to old lenses on different types of film cameras, shooting on film. He would know much better than me of what lenses are good for what type of look you're going for with the least amount of post-processing later, like fiddling with your negatives. And so I'm not the right person to talk about that. I only know the experience that I have with my own lenses. And so they all tend to be kind of medium to low contrast lenses, but sharp in general. That's kind of what I'm going for. What's your favorite medium format film stock? For me, it's because of what I like to shoot. You love Velvia. You probably shoot landscape nature. I shoot street at night, so I love CineStill 800T. That's my my film of choice. But if it was going to be daylight, would probably have been and it's discontinued, but I still have a few rolls left. Is the NPS 160 Fujifilm. I love that for daylight stuff. Lonnie, Astia, yeah, Astia, Fujifilm makeup for men and also maybe for women. Good day, mate. Australia. Hello, Mr. Marcus. Thanks for joining. How much time is left? I got 8 minutes left, guys. I'm gonna try to catch up here, but thank you all for joining. I do appreciate it. I gotta just plow through here. I'm just gonna look for questions now, if that's all right. Andreas Maas, I would say Greg's books. Get the one on the Kowloon Walled City or the one on Vancouver, 1972 to 1982. Both of those are just fantastic, fantastic photos. And I think the one on the Hong Kong, the Kowloon Walled City, there's a version 1 and got sold out, and then they had a version 2, and I think that might also be sold out as well. Let me see here. You are not Korean. Are you asking me, Hank? No, I'm Okinawan from Japan. RX 100s way too pricey now. Yeah, I think they've always been kind of pricey, the RX 100 series, but like the GRs and the X100, the market is so small of like high quality, large-ish censored small point and shoots. There's not many people buying them, and if they are, they're like either the waterproof type kind of underwater cameras, or they are like GoPros. Other than that, no one's buying point and shoots. Everyone's just using their smartphone because the market is so small. It's reflected in the price, right? And so I bet you if point and shoots, like let's just say smartphones didn't have, imagine an alternate universe where smartphones did not have cameras on there and people are still buying point and shoots and they're like huge sales, like 100 million units a year type thing. I think the RX 100 would be half the price. But because it's such a niche product, you know, that's kind of the price that it needs to be. And I don't think they're making a killing on the RX 100 other than the fact that they're actually making the sensors at the same time. Right? Because look at the price of the Canon GX series, the G7X, G5X, G9X. they're kind of up there as well, right? And they're using that Sony sensor that they actually have to buy from Sony, and they're kind of pricey as well. Not as pricey as the RX 100, but those are more competent cameras with more features, but they are kind of expensive. So let me see here. Cafe YVR, yeah, hey Cafe YVR, if someone is being a pain, you can just kick them out if you can. But thank you for deleting. Hidden, thank you. I appreciate that. That's why I have a moderator. Let me see here. RX 100, RX1 is like the Leica Q. RX 100 is a Digicam compact. Yeah, I mean, I think the RX1 was cool, but like the Leica Q, I just find both of them a little bit too big. Both very competent cameras, but by the time you get to that size, I would rather have an APS-C full-featured camera and be able to choose my own lenses. And that's why I kind of gravitate towards the GR, which I have right here, that I've been kind of carrying around with me everywhere I go. No matter what I'm shooting, because it's so compact, it just easily fits into my camera bag, where I'm finding that I'm leaving the RX 100 at home more and more now, because I have a bag full of lenses that I'm testing, a bag full of camera bodies, and then I have room for like one little point and shoot, either a film point and shoot, which I'll take with me if it's during the day, or at night I'll take the GR, and then I don't have space for the X100. So that's just kind of how it ends up being. Or the Leica Q and the RX1, I'd have the same issue. It's like I just can't fit it. If it was my primary camera, I think that's great. But as a kind of a point and shoot, it's a bit too big for me. Alberto, getting the Voigtlander 35 Nocton. Yeah, if you talk to my buddy at Juan from Beers and Cameras, just DM him on Instagram. He knows all those Voigtlander lenses, and he loves the 40 Nocton. I'm not sure if he said anything about the 35 Nocton, but he loves the 40. And for the price performance, it's way better than buying a Leica, right? I mean, with the diminishing returns, I guess they call it, the more you spend, like you're spending $3,000-$4,000 on a 35 Lux spherical. I mean, you can buy like 5 or 6 of these Voigtlanders, right? It's not worth 5 times more. Definitely is not. But if you can afford it, like what GSD Wong said, go for it. But if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. Just get the Voigtlander and be happy. And Ken, yeah, thanks. I mean, it was Camera Girl that basically said, "Hey, don't you have a live show today?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I better do one." So thank you so much for joining. There's 80 of you on now, so I'm smitten. I'm very excited that a lot of you guys decided to join. I know that other guys will start a little bit. I think Ken Wheeler starts around 6. I think he starts about now. So I know we have kind of crossover followers. So let's just see here. Oh man, there's so many questions still. If you're interested in the topic, I recommend in touch. There you go. That's not a question. Not a question. Nick, hey, Nick Exposed. How's it going, buddy? I wish I could invite people on YouTube Live. I can't do it though. I can't. I wish YouTube could allow me to do that. I have to get Discord, I guess, and then OBS. I'm trying to figure out a way of having guests on, and I have somebody working on that for me. But thanks again for my moderators. Will and Cafe YVR for doing that for me. I don't know what this dude was saying, but I guess he was being a pain. G9X, not bad. Yeah, I like the G series. I think they're great. Get the don't get the GR1 film camera. I love it, but don't get it. They break. I broke mine. I had to pay for it, get it fixed. But that's because I love it and I've had it for like over 20 years. But once you get addicted, even Bellamy Hunt from Japan Camera Hunter, he tells people, don't buy the GR1. Even if I have one for sale, he's like, I only like selling it to guys that have already bought previous GR1s that knows what they're getting into. But he's like, these things will all eventually break. They were never meant to last 40, 50 years type thing. And so, buy something else. And so, but the digital GR has a similar problem with the barrel design lens. It has a similar problem. They eventually kind of break on you. And if you think about longevity, get the X100. They'll last you much longer. All right. Tom, thanks for joining. and better to invest in prints. Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to just show you guys a couple of prints before I go. This is a picture, a cine still picture right here in Hong Kong. Another my favorite sign in Hong Kong here. And I think I have a bunch of these prints at Camera Film Photo in Hong Kong that I've signed. Go talk to Carl or John if you're in Hong Kong and ask them they still have my signed prints and pick them up for free. I left them there last year or the year before and left a stack of them, including a whole bunch. This is actually shot in Osaka. Left a whole stack of them. Even I think I even have some here right now. In this, I had some 8x12s cine still prints that I let me see here. Do I have them? Well, these are kind of personal stuff. Yeah, here's a 8x12 version here of that picture I took. This one here is in San Francisco here. And then this is in Toronto here, going down one of the subway systems. But yeah, definitely print your work. I print a lot of my stuff all the time. I'm not very good at putting them into albums and stuff, but I definitely print all my work. And so thanks for joining, guys. I'm going to just pick a camera that I'm going to say goodbye with. Here we go. I'll pick my favorite Minolta XD. And so if I miss your questions, guys, please leave them after this chat, and then I'll try to get to answer them later on. But thanks for joining. We'll talk to you later, and happy shooting. Buttery smooth. All right. Peace. See you next week.